Hi, it's Donna Guest, the Lazy Scrapbooker, and welcome to another Tuesday tip. This one was recorded live back in 2023, and it's a beautiful page idea that's a little more challenging than what I usually do here, but it's much easier than it looks. I am the Lazy Scrapbooker after all. Let's get started. So what I've got tonight is this layout that I found a while back. I can't remember the original source, but I changed it up a bit and wanted to share it with you. So I used here the Cue the Blue collection, and I've got the Wispy Chain Border Maker cartridge, papers from Cue the Blue, and embellishments for this fun fold-over page. Then here are the dimensions, the measurements, if you want to jot this down, because I'm going to change it up a little bit for the second one. The reason I'm going to change it is I want to get rid of this black space in here. I put this on black cardstock because it coordinates with Cue the Blue. And I've got these borders are 10 inches long. So with a Border Maker cartridge, you get a 12 inch. I just cut off one of the punches. So I have 5 punches instead of 6. Then these squares that are folded are 5-inch squares. The mats underneath are 4.5 by 3.5, and my photos are 4.25 by 3.25, and they are my fun little subject I love to use for these online demos. This kitty is going to have the fanciest scrapbook around because of all these demos. So I'm going to change this a little bit, and our new dimensions are going to make the squares a tad bit bigger to fill in this 1/2-inch gap here, and so it increased the size of everything by 1/4. I'm going to use this time the Our Moments collection. So as my background, I'm going to use this page here. And then for my borders, I've decided to use this page. Now to save time, I've punched 3 already. So here's my Border Maker system. And if you've never used this, I'm going to use the Brocade Chain cartridge, if you can see that right there. And this one, you're going to match this little prong up to these 6 prongs here. And this is a pretty intricate pattern. And so I always recommend when it's an intricate pattern, you pull it out like this instead of sliding it down. Sliding it down is just inviting trouble. It may get caught and tangled up and get stuck. And then you'll have your paper torn and have a time getting it cleaned out. Okay, so I was doing that very carefully because it is a pretty intricate pattern. So we're done with this now. Now I'm going to cut these. I've already cut one down to 10 inches, so I'm going to cut the other ones too. So I'm just cutting a couple of inches off here. And you're usually going to cover these corners up the way we're going to put the squares down in a minute, so it doesn't have to be that neat, so don't worry too much about how neatly you're cutting it. As you can see, I just kind of winged that there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put these down. This is going to need repositionable tape runner because it's such an unusual pattern. Let me just go ahead and do the tape on all 4 of these to save time. So I'm going to place these just about 1 inch down, centering that, and they're just overlapping. As you can see, we're going to cover that up a bit so it's not a perfect square. It's not like a frame punch, but it's okay because we're going to have a square over that corner. All of this isn't going to show. It's just kind of in the background. Oops. There we go. All right, so those are our 10-inch borders there. Now we're going to cut. I'm going to use this paper here. That's got a nice contrast on the back with that dark brown. We're going to cut 4 squares that are 5 1/4 inch. So I'm going to do 2 columns here, and then turn that on its side and cut my squares. And here's 2 more really quickly. Next, we're going to go ahead and cut our mats. So here are the mats. I've pre-cut the photos, so I've at least done most of that. But the mats are going to need to be 4 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I think it's going to be best. I'm going to try to get all of these on 1 sheet of paper. Let's see. So it's 7.5 inches long. That is just enough for this right here. I think it's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to cut a column that is 3 3/4. I hope my math is right. And 3 3/4. Oh wow, it's almost exactly. Just cut a little sliver off right there. Perfect. And then I'm going to turn them on their side and cut it at 4 3/4. Just a little math and planning ahead. Make sure that we use as much paper as we can without wasting it and having to go to another sheet, which I may or may not have handy. Now I've got the 4 mats that are going to go on top of that. Next, let me grab my photos. And again, my little subject of Nicholas. And so I've already pre-cut these. They're 4.5 by 3.5. And with this design, you're going to want to have 2 that are landscape
and 2 that are portrait. Now, I was going to use this one because it really is cute, but it's a little bit tall and I don't want to crop too much out, so I'm not going to do that one. So I've chosen this one instead. As you can see, he loves my office and is all over the place, and I let that happen. So it's going to be 3.5 inches wide, so it's already 4 inches wide, so I just need to cut 1/4 inch off of each side. So I'm lining it up over here in the personal trimmer, 3 3/4, because I'm going down to 3.5 inch wide. Get those dimensions out. I need a reminder of what they are. There we go. And then it's going to be 4.5 inches tall. So it's already 6, so I'm basically cutting 3/4 off the top and the bottom, but let me see where I am. I may have to make a few cuts just to kind of center him up. And we said 4.5 inches. All right, that looks good. Okay, perfect. So now we have our photos trimmed with the personal trimmer. Okay, so all our dimensions are done. And I have pushed this aside, so let me just do this. Not very smart to put my trimmer on top of my page and do that, but it's okay. Fixed easily. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mat these first. So I'm going to do the tape runner all at once just to make it faster. It's kind of like the fast motion I use on my YouTube videos, but not really. And then leave about a 1/4 inch margin. Let me show you that where you can see it. A 1/4 inch margin around the edge with a little bit extra over here. Okay, and the pattern doesn't really matter on the front or the back. It can get very confusing if the pattern has to be a certain direction, because your folds are going to go different direction. If we look at the model again that I did first, so we want one here, 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 and here. So it's best for me to position the photos first and then fold. So let's figure that out. All right, and I don't really care where they go on the page. I'm not telling a story with this one. These are just photos from, I laughed because I looked at the envelope they came in. Here's how they come when you get them printed from Creative Memories. And it says Nicholas, June of 2021. And there's 50 photos in here from June of 2021. He was new though, so we have a lot. We don't take as many now. All right, so another landscape one here. Oh, I did one thing wrong, I just saw, because I went at the bottom here. They need to be kind of opposite like that. And so for this one, I'm going to need this one to be opposite like that. Got ahead of myself. There we go. The original one I put the photos on last, but this one we can do like this. Now they're done. And now I'm just going to fold. So for this, I'm going to take my straight blade out and then find my scoring blade, just so I'll put a neat fold in it. And the way I'm folding this, it's about, I'm just eyeballing it, but you see it's about 1 inch from there to there, and then it goes up to that corner. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to place these on the page where they need to go, with the fold on the outside, just like that. And so now I'll start with this one. I'm going to go from this corner up to here. Well, let's see, this corner like that, up to there. So it's about 1 inch. I'm going to line up the corner down here on my cutting line. You can barely see mine now because I need to change my trimmer mat. When it starts to look like this, you can see that, that's when it's time to change your trimmer mat, and it will feel like you have a new one. So starting at this corner down here and going up about 1 inch there, I'm just going to score it and then fold it over. And so now it gives a nice contrast, and we'll just put that down with a little bit of tape runner. There we go. And so now I'll do the other ones. So this one's going to go from here up to here. I'll go ahead and do the other two. So from the corner, they kind of go counterclockwise, it feels like. We'll just score them first and then fold them in a minute. And this one goes from this corner up to there. And now we'll just fold them and use my bone folder. It's the tool I never knew I needed. And it doesn't have to be a perfect fold. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same on every one, just similar. But that does put a nice professional crease in it. There we go. And then I will tack those down with some tape. And yeah, my tape's going right on my photo. It's okay. I'm not worried about it. It's just in the corner. Okay, cute. Cute. And now for the little finishing touch. Every collection usually has either the rhinestones or what I used on these, those little flat sort of flat enamel stickers like that look really cute. We'll do rhinestones for him. Let's see, because that's what comes in this collection, which is Our Moments. And I'll just put it in the corner, so like it's a little button there. I've started using stuff like this a little bit more. I was afraid to use it at first because I worried about the height that would add the thickness to my albums, but it's really not a big deal. It hasn't been a problem the more and more that I've used them. Okay, and so now we'll attach these. And I saw that one pop up just then. I might want to use a little more tape runner, but once I get a page protector on it, it will not be an issue. Let's just do all these at once. Definitely make scrapbooking a little faster. I'm just putting something in each corner. Okay, so I'm going to kind of cover those corners down there, but up a little bit so that you can see it. And I did make these larger with our larger dimensions so that I have no blank space in the middle. And they're all kind of just pushed together. Okay, and I can finish that with some embellishments. Put some foam squares on the little heart that's going to go on top of it. Cute. And there's my embellishment in the middle. Love it. All right, very cute page idea. Not hard to do. I'll show these measurements again. Here are the measurements for this page. I don't know if I can get all on the screen. The measurements for this one were a little bit different. So it just depends on how you like it. This one gives you bigger photos, and that does make a difference, that extra 1/4 of an inch. And this one gives you a little more space in between, just depending on how you like it. I think I like this one better because I'm always going to go with bigger photos.
So, looking at this again over 2 years later, I have to say I like the one on the left now better because it shows more of the border. The difference in the size of the photos, really not that much. Which do you like better? Let me know in the comments.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope you look forward to the next Tuesday tip right here each Tuesday.